So this should be quick. Just gonna rip the band-aid off. I want to talk about alienating self. I'm going to show you this picture. It is a flying Pegasus with two other flying Pegasus, so all three all together right here. This tends to be a rather religious set of cards. It has a lot of angel representation, including Archangel Michael. The reason I'm mentioning that is because the idea of an archangel or a human with wings would imply that we've already experienced alien life forms on this planet, not even to mention their offspring. So here we've got a Pegasus plus an angel with wings. This is Archangel Gabriel, which says, "Call in the pure white light." When you look at yourself and say to yourself, I am not Darwin, I am not Isaac Newton, I am not an angel descended from Nephilim or any type of activity in the fields with the sheep, however you want to take that. You've completely underestimated yourself as well as other beings around you in the ability to identify something that isn't so invisible to everyone else. Everyone else probably can at least hope that they are the descendant of a fairy, a dragon, a pixie, a nymph, a woodland nymph, without framing themselves as human. My point in saying any of this is that the dignity that you carry, you see all these people actually pointing at this man, calling him crazy, but he's standing next to a unicorn. Says, hold your head up high and know the unicorns are supporting you. There's the idea of the coming of the light, or seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, or heaven. Per se. And all of those things are super interesting, but not as interesting as the concept that you yourself may have evolved from one specific bloodline of plant, one specific bloodline, depending on your RH type. This is number 39. This is listening in the reverse, which is number 53. How do we know that people who have genetic, what we would dub as disabilities, are not the alien species that you were looking forward to meeting, and instead you alienate, patronize, or completely extinguish them anyway? What makes us so certain that Area 51 doesn't have a lot more to do with the silence that exists between us and our prejudice. Because if you saw a little green man that had crashed to the earth at Roswell, not once. I don't think they just found one body. I think they found some tinfoil looking substance nearby that was their ship, and then a second body of work. You would be terrified. The way Benjamin Button looked in that movie was like an old man. But honestly, if there was a gray little man or a little woman that crashed into the surface, the face of a sir or the face of a ma'am in any specific way, I think you'd be so terrified that the call would be made to 911 and then suddenly the body would go missing, which is 311, right? Yeah. This is number 34. So it's like looking at things backwards. If you think about 143, that's I love you. If you aren't listening to Area 51 anyway, then how can they ever say I love you without being killed instantly? Just as a rule of thumb. For science, out of curiosity, or just because of fear. They're the wrong color, they're the wrong height, and your belief systems don't ever fall in line. I gotta grab my deck real fast. It's just time for that. So, what would you do? Would you disclose the fact that you've seen an alien? Would you keep it a secret? Or would you just write yourself and your own cognition off because you actually couldn't believe your eyes? The vision that you had was no longer reliable sources of information. God, I don't like. This is ET Phone Home. This is a very sad embrace of a spirit of place. There are unexpected visitors. I'm gonna leave those three not so much in the open, but I'm just gonna say that this is judgment. Sometimes the parts of yourself that are the most vulnerable are also the parts of yourself that are kind of too good to be true or too extravagant to fit into your idea of what angelic life forms could look like, or of anything you've ever fathomed before. And I don't know how. There's 1,000 different roses, and Jesus showed up with the thorns, not with the blooms on his head. That's all I can really say about that. There's an owl passing by the moon, because who knows? I mean, we know the ocean is controlled by the moon, but we don't necessarily assume that bird life is noticing Archangel Gabriel. Probably looks like an owl when they're high enough in the sky. Again, this is number 39, Archangel Gabriel. Most likely look like a pet owl that was released into the wild and obscured your vision for just a moment. It isn't that we don't want to live it. I think people want to believe in something, but they challenge the moonlight, they challenge the roses, they challenge the dead. If a rose is a living, growing thing, and the moon is ringing like a bell for hours after it's landed upon, um, the portal is probably not going to be recognized. This is number 27. There's a voice in a Russian plane called Su-27 called Nagging Nadia. And the spark of color that most people see in people with different orientation, different belief systems, or different origin sources usually doesn't have a lot of dignity. I've said this invisibly 1,000 times. I'm gonna just say it again. This is number 4 in the reverse, which is choices, meaning that in the upright, you do have a choice. But when your voice is used as a warning system rather than as a comfort system that you requested specifically, usually your unicorn has to walk behind you, like the moon is behind the owl, rather than in front. There's the rainbow, which is maybe a little bit of mixed-ish, but also there are 3 birds indicating the pot of gold. Attempting to help other people learn by not living it, but simply experiencing what it's like to be an unexpected visitor. Because just like in the last unicorn, you wouldn't expect to see a unicorn any more than you would expect to see an alien. And if you did find a unicorn, you might think that it's a little redhead girl peeking through some type of portal, trying to sing you home. So 27 and 41 are most likely silent about Area 51 and Roswell, because it's sad. Because you wouldn't wish that type of crash on anybody if you were indeed not of this planet. Don't you think Jesus probably wished he had just shut the hell up? Shut the hell up. As soon as his relationship with God became apparent to everybody else, Pontius Pilate probably wouldn't have wanted to be a pilot, especially if he knew there was going to be a crash, if there was going to be a 911 situation that ended up in him going missing, 311. If there were going to be epidemics, coup d'etats, extreme shedding of blood, locusts, white horses, black horses, red horses, any number of color of horses. I already put the rainbow card away, but think about the pathway, the pathogens, the pathology of a Pegasus who may meet a horse, who may meet a mule, who may meet a donkey along his journey. All of those would seem rather alien to this Pegasus. And he would wonder, where is the last unicorn? But even if he saw the last unicorn, this is also number 41, by the way. So that's number 41 coming out twice with unexpected visitors and the Pegasus. This says, open your heart to love and joy. And this is just an unexpected visitor. I feel like they go this way because she's actually looking at the Pegasus. There would be no sad embrace because either the Pegasus or the little girl might be too scared to relive the trauma of a 911 call. Or the other choice is the Ace of Swords. Is the Ace of Swords. Bold hope, wow, 100% boss. If you were able to live through it and survive any part of it, then this meeting probably wouldn't be so terrifying. There's a song by Eric Clapton. If I Could Change the World goes with John Travolta's movie called Phenomenon. Sometimes when you see phenomenal things or humans that you would assume are human perform phenomenal feats, we're too I just want to say 2, 4, 6, 8. you know, it's a cheerleader thing. Um, or it's another thing. I don't think it matters at this point. The divine sight is on the bottom of the deck, saying, see the divine in everyone. That's the problem, is that we don't. We're more likely to call shenanigans on one another than to two, 4, 6, 8 changes within ourselves, other people, or anything around us, honestly. I'm personally exhausted. I think this is going to be all for today. Yeah. If you've never seen Nadia and the Secret of Blue Water, maybe go watch that also while looking up nagging Nadia. I'm pretty sure aquifers are done with us searching for water on other planets outside of our own.